Also new tonight, Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino is stepping down from the role after 8 months. He said his departure will happen next month. President Trump says he thanks Bongino and wants to return to hosting his radio show. Bongino has publicly spoken out and privately about the toll the job has had on his personal life.
Now, is Dan Bongino really getting out because of it's interfering with his personal life, or has he discovered certain things in government where he's basically being restricted from really exposing some things to help keep the American people informed? Who's to say what the real reason is? Because I don't honestly believe that he would give up that quick into 8 months of being in the government to basically just call it quits. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments below.
We get news that Dan Bongino's stepping down. He sent out a tweet yesterday. I think he said effective early January. So he did not make it a year. And now he's already getting some blowback. This is what the left is saying. But this is the reason I'm playing this is you're also hearing this online from some on the right, which is kind of telling because I love Bongino and I've been kind of taken aback at like the shift in opinion by some, even on the right. But here's Nicole Wallace with her 2-cent take.
This guy is a freaking joke. He wears T-shirts that are obviously too small, and he went on Fox News and complained about how long the workday is as the number 2 at the FBI. The FBI, as you two know better than anyone, protects children from child sex traffickers. And on that topic, Dan Bongino had a successful podcast in part because he peddled conspiracy theories about Jeffrey Epstein and then got to the FBI and let Pam Bondi roll over him when they decided to cover up the files because Donald Trump's name is in them, a fact confirmed by Susie Wiles this week in 11 on-the-record interviews with Chris Whipple. I want to know if either of you can speak to the lasting damage or the danger that we're in, because a guy that is a joke was the number 2 at the FBI.
I can't stand these freaking liberals, man. They just come on these news stations and just don't make valid points. They just insult like it's literally the solution to the world problems. Like, oh my gosh. I'll get on the news and start talking crap about that woman's hair and how ugly she looks and all this stuff, and just to make her look like shit on television when it doesn't matter. It doesn't solve the solutions to anything.
First of all, they did not let Pam Bondi roll over them. She's their boss. The FBI is not an independent agency that doesn't answer to anybody. True. They answer to Pam Bondi. If Pam Bondi directs the strategy that we're not releasing anything more on the Epstein's file, then that is what Cash and Dan had to do. I'm sorry that they were very outspoken on Epstein beforehand, but like to pretend that they had independent autonomy when DOJ, and frankly, let's face it, it must have been Trump's call, made a call, is to ignore reality.
Well, that is the issue. And somebody that's on the right, I would say one of the things that I've said it on this channel before is Dan Bongino and Kash Patel both have ran in many interviews speaking about how corrupt the government was, how there was just so many crooked elites and this and that, and what they would do if they got into government. And now the moment has come where President Trump said, okay, you two specific people talking about the swamp that I've been talking about in the past, come join the government. Bam, they're in the government, and all of a sudden Kash Patel's a whole 180 about everything he used to say before he went to the government. Same for Dan Bongino, except Dan Bongino, he's been a little outspoken about, him disagreeing with Pam Bondi, or rumor had it, and then he had to clarify it, Pam Bondi had to clarify it, and now it's to the point where, okay, he only can do 8 months, he's calling it quits, he's getting out. But I wouldn't even criticize Dan Bongino, because I said it, the moment they all got into government, it started this year, that they should have done everything quietly to really expose all these corrupt people, and I feel like they're all compromised. Everybody in the Trump administration is compromised. Even Trump himself, I believe. Just because everything he used to say is not the same. He's starting just to change the dynamic of everything he said he was going to do in regards to exposing the swamp, the corruption in Washington. None of that has been happening. He's dealing with, Israel. He's dealing with Ukraine. He's dealing with what's going on at the border. He's doing all these other things. Sure, a lot of things need to be handled, but I think in order to handle so many other things that are important for this country, I think corruption should be the number one thing to ensure that in the process of handling Israel, Ukraine, Russia, China, all these things, the border, crime, everything, I believe the corruption needs to stop before doing any of those things, because then what's the point? You're going to have corrupt people still following along on all these things and figuring out different ways to keep more illegal things happening in different sectors of what the country is trying to do to stop the bad and promote the good. I don't know. This is my opinion. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments below. Like and subscribe. I would appreciate it. Until next time, peace out, everybody. This was for Charlie.